Athens. It was never ever likely to be played in Belgrade, and ultimately we find ourselves in the small Dutch town of Heerenveen, about 60 miles northeast of Amsterdam, for the start of Leeds United's 11th assault on the remodelled UEFA Cup. Welcome indeed to the Abbé Lenstra Stadium, just 5 years of age, and named after a famous Dutch striker of yesteryear. If you've ever passed the Walsall ground by the car park that is the M6, you'll know exactly the sort of ground that we're in. Leeds have a fine record in this tournament. They're the most successful British team in the competition's history. Twice winners, once runners-up. But in Partizan Belgrade, they face a side even younger than them, more experienced in Europe than them, and full of the type of young players that would have Italian scouts flocking to Belgrade if only they were allowed to fly there. Many of them have come here instead to see these players. And they'll be looking at a lineup that has 3 full Yugoslav internationals. Razovic scored the 2 penalties that beat Newcastle in the Cup Winners' Cup last season. Kristajic, the left-sided defender, is a current international. Likewise, Đorđe Tomic, the playmaker in midfield, wearing number 10 there. The average age of this bunch of players, just 22. The Leeds manager, David O'Leary, hasn't been able to see Partizan in the flesh. The Foreign Office is advising British subjects not to travel to Belgrade. He points out with some frustration that he in fact is Irish. But a lack of information has prompted him to go against his natural instincts and select 5 men in midfield today, with Michael Bridges a lone striker. This is the way the team shapes up. Gary Kelly starts for the club for the first time in 16 months. And with Michael Dewberry out injured, Jonathan Woodgate returns at the back. This one of 5 UEFA Cup matches being played today around Europe. There are 43 more on Thursday, which is when this game would have been played, except that Thursday is Market Day in Heerenveen, and the local mayor ruled that the market took precedence. David Batty, sent off in Warsaw, outstanding at Coventry on Saturday, and playing the shielding role in front of the Leeds back 4. As you can hear, there is a partisan atmosphere, if you will forgive the pun. Yugoslav supporters based in Belgrade have been unable to obtain visas, so the Partizan fans here are largely expatriates from Germany, and the referee is from Germany as well, Herbert van der. Leeds, as you can see, are in their change colours of sky blue shirts and dark blue shorts. The Leeds bench with the likes of Alfie Haaland and Partizan, known throughout Europe as the black and whites, playing from the left in this first half. And alongside me, the vastly experienced European campaigner himself, Trevor Brooking.
Well, it's a tight little ground. I mean, although there aren't that many people here, I mean, there's a couple of thousand Leeds supporters behind the goal to our left, and well, a couple of hundred Partizan to our right, but they're making plenty of noise, and because it's a small little ground, the atmosphere actually is better than probably back home you might think, so the players shouldn't need too much to lift themselves.
Well, this is Vladimir Ivic, who's a powerful runner from central midfield. The covering defender for Leeds is their captain, Lucas Radebe, and he's given it away to the opposition central midfield player, Đorđe Tomic. The midfield trio in this Partizan side, from the sketchy videos that David O'Leary has been able to see, are quite a powerful triumvirate. Free kick awarded by the German referee in Partizan's favour. It's not the first time that Leeds have had to play a European tie at a neutral venue. Of course, they had to replay a European Cup tie against Stuttgart, who'd fielded an ineligible player in the early 90s, and played that match in Barcelona. And the Nou Camp with 10,000 in is rather like this stadium with 3,000 or 4,000 in, which is what we have today. Bowyer nicking the ball to Kewell. Bowyer then having to battle for possession and committing a foul. Spiky character, Lee Bowyer. Branko Savic is the Partizan player who went down injured. And as we watch the indiscretion again, which was a stud down the back of the calf, Lee Bowyer has received a lecture from the referee.
Very lucky not to get a yellow card. I mean, it was almost jumping at the ball, wasn't it? His leg got in the way. So a lecture, but it could have been a card, and I don't think he'd have had to quibble about it either.
It was Kristajic He played in the Yugoslav side that won 4-2 in Macedonia last week. And it is not, Trevor, a side that is packed with well-known international names, this Partizan side, but there's a whole host of Yugoslav under-21 internationals, the sort of Mijatovićes of the future, if you like.
I think anyone who's played against sort of players from that part of the world know that their skill level is always excellent. And remember, probably the best under-18 side I ever played against was the Yugoslavians. They keep it so well. Sometimes they just lack the incisiveness in the final third, and perhaps we'll have to see whether this young team have got that experience up to now. But if we are test for Leeds, they can't be complacent.
Hart with the free kick for Leeds to Harry Kewell. To be able to recover possession. Batting. Bowyer is strayed offside, so too quite probably was Michael Bridges. Bridges playing effectively as a lone striker. The likelihood is that Smith and or Huckabee will appear in the game at a later stage to relieve him.
Need relieving if he doesn't get too much support from midfield. I mean, Kewell naturally wide on the left will be encouraged to be the man to join. Gary Kelly's playing wide on the right, and then Lee Bowyer probably of the midfield three. Hopkin and Batty doing more of a holding job.
Here's Razovic, a name that won't go down well with Newcastle supporters. He scored penalties home and away against them in the Cup-Winners' Cup last season. Kristajic, Sasa Ilic. And now Kezman, who fell over under the challenge of Woodgate. Batting. Bowyer with a good recovery tackle, it seemed. He took the ball cleanly, but there may just have been a tug at the shirt. The indiscretion committed, and Matej Kezman lining up for the free kick, who is very much Partizan's star turn. Only 20 years of age, and those Italian and Spanish scouts that are here today have largely come to watch him. Trobok. Stanijevic. And now Branko Savic, who's recovered from that foul by Bowyer. Good defending by Radovic. Well, the referee doesn't seem to like the approach of Lee Bowyer. That's the third time he's pulled him up for a free kick.
I mean, back home, sort of an interception like that with the foot up wouldn't be penalised, but of course anywhere in Europe, as soon as you raise the leg, even though it made contact with the ball, it's deemed dangerous.
Ivic. Trobok. Kristajic is wide on the far side and is making a run behind Gary Kelly, and this is Kristajic!
Well, that was a chance. Good play. I like the number 18, Ivic. Looks very controlled on the ball. And Kristajic coming inside is very much left-footed. And he just got away from Gary Kelly and actually just needed the right foot, didn't he? He tried to hit a curler with the outside of his left foot and running inside like that's got to be some strike.
Hopkin making life uncomfortable for Trobok. Two of them having a minor disagreement. Partizan, by the way, are extremely unhappy at having to come to Northern Holland to play this game. They're convinced, according to their officials, that there's some sort of conspiracy going on between UEFA and Leeds to make sure they go out at the first hurdle of the competition. They have already come through 3 qualifying rounds for the Champions League, eventually going out to Spartak Moscow. Hart's free kick. Radovic over the head of Bridges, but Bridges will pick it up and will cross it just over the head of Gary Kelly. Back in by Bowyer, and here's Hopkin. Play on, off the bar, and the flag up on the far side. The Leeds supporters behind the goal have seen that David Hopkin has gone down poleaxed, and some of them started cheering, thinking that the referee was pointing not for a free kick, but for an infringement that might have brought Leeds a penalty.
Well, you can see the challenge there. That's the offside flag, though, when it's broken and hit the woodwork, Gary Kelly. But the initial challenge on David Hopkins would have led to the penalty if he hadn't been Gary Kelly in that position. But so I think what happened after this challenge was all secondary, because the flag went up for the offside. Just as well to see him get up there, because it was very nasty.
David Swift is the Leeds physiotherapist as we see the challenge again.
I mean, you know, although the flag has been raised, why not show the yellow card? That was at least a yellow card tackle. I mean, there's no bearing the fact that he was in offside. The challenge was horrendous.
David O'Leary alone at this moment with his thoughts high in the grandstand here. Hasn't been the ideal preparation for this game. He likes to see the opposition naturally enough in the flesh. And actually had a jet plane waiting for him on the tarmac at Leeds Bradford Airport, ready to go at a moment's notice to take him to Belgrade. But government restrictions, as advised by the Foreign Office, are such at the moment that travel is actively discouraged to that part of Yugoslavia.
I think one of the areas they're always concerned of as a coach, if you haven't seen the side play, is is there a player perhaps who's got exceptional pace or a little bit of trickery, but more often than not, set pieces, who's going to mark at free kicks and so forth.
Miodrag Jesic, the Partizan coach, former player with the club and a one-time Yugoslav international.
Been fairly dismissive of UEFA, hasn't he, in the build-up as well?
I don't think he'll be getting an executive position with them in the next few months, Trevor, no. On by Kesman. Hart, the defender. Bit of a tangle involving Savic and Kewell. Partizan get the decision. Tomic. He's the balanced player who's told to get up, having lost his balance.
Never ceases to amaze me when the English team is struggling to try and find left-sided players, to see how many there are in opposing European countries. I mean, this team here got 3 natural left-footers without even looking around.
And Leeds have got David Batty, who by all accounts was their best player at Coventry on Saturday. Took a great deal of stick from the crowd at Highfield Road, but apparently revelled in it. Hart's kick. Kewell, was a good lead. Woodgate. Illich. Mills. Ball given against Danny Mills, for whom this is a European debut. You seem to be hearing an awful lot of the referee's whistle.
Yeah, I think perhaps because of the build-up to the match and whatever. I think the referee understandably is going to clamp down on anything. I mean, we've seen a couple of naughty tackles already, Lee Boyer and then the tackle on David Hopkins. So making sure it just doesn't boil over into anything other than a competitive football game.
Batting. Just too high for Hopkin. And by Ivic, and Kesman's off in pursuit of this. Nonsense by Radaby. Kelly. Came off Kristajic. Kept in play by Stanijevic. Now Leeds do have the throw. Holding given against Razovic. I don't think David O'Leary is too happy with one or two of the refereeing decisions.
I think we could lip read, I don't believe it. He thinks the game is being disrupted. There's no flow to it at the moment. But you know, what is a good result? I think anything other than defeat, isn't it? You're always looking as well, if possible, for the away goal. Eddie Gray there wouldn't be bad in getting an away goal for his side.
Possibly from this free kick taken by Hart, and they've not really picked up Kelly. There are 5 waiting in the middle. Headed out by Ivic. No surprise to hear the whistle again. It was Ivic who took a bit of a clattering after clearing the ball. Well, you wouldn't know it from the opening 13 minutes of this fixture, but Partizan are normally a very good side to watch. Average age of just 22. The oldest player is this man, the goalkeeper, Damjanac, who's 27. And their unbeaten run in league competition in Yugoslavia stretches back the same length of time as Manchester United's current unbeaten sequence, 27 matches. And this season it's played 3-1-3 in domestic competition. Batty to Bowyer and offside. There wouldn't have been a great deal in that. Not enough to bring the flag.
Yeah, good ball from David Batty outside of his right foot into the channel. Look, when the ball was played, is he offside? No. And that's why you said it was close. And Lee Bowyer knows it was very close, and frustration.
Euphemisms are a commentator's speciality, Trevor. This is nice play. Kezman. Forward by Mills. Kuehl. Not to be being held. And the referee concurred. Savic, the offender. There's an arm lock. And Jonathan Woodgate has come forward from the back. He's on the far side of the penalty area, joined now by Radaby. And a committee comprising Hopkin, Bowyer and Hart deciding how this should proceed. Kelly is forward as well. Taken by Hart, and Kelly's header. Nephew to uncle, but wide of the post.
Well, he's very good at set pieces, Hart. Dangerous, of course, shooting. And if you look at Radaby, Woodgate, about the only two of decent height, so putting it in at pace makes sense, really.
Batty. Mills. Hoisted in for Kuehl. Bridges is making a run off him, and Savic wasn't quite sure of his position. Bowyer. This is better from Leeds. Kelly. Now batting. Mills. Razovic's header. Handel has given Leeds the free kick this time.
Gary Kelly just inviting the tackle. I think it was number 10, Tomic. No surprise to see Hart going across from that side, no doubt curling it back in towards the goal.
And once more, both centre-backs have come forward. And the same three are over the ball as took the last set piece. Hopkin this time. Headed out by Krstajic. Kuehl appeals for handball, but if it was ball to hand and not hand to ball. Iliev. Kezman waiting in the middle, and out by Kelly, and then Radaby. Kuehl to Bowyer. Bridges. Lovely play from Leeds, and this is Lee Bowyer with Bridges gaining ground in the middle.
It was a great counter-attack by Leeds, wasn't it? Iliev had got clear on the other side, and really Lee Bowyer, I think, a little square ball to Harry Kuehl, 5 yards inside him was the pass, went for a bit of glory, scuffed it, and it bobbled harmlessly into the near post.
Interesting that the goalkeeper is giving way to Krstajic to take the goal kicks, having taken the first few himself, Damjanac. Kelly. Bridges. Batting. Now Mills. Ivic. Talk about going round Ian Hart. Nice pause to ponder. Tomic to Iliev. Kezman and Ivic both available inside the penalty area. That was obstruction by Danny Mills.
A little neat approach though. Iliev, I think he's only 19 as well, the other striker, isn't he? So two really youngsters to have the responsibility to try and score goals for their team in this particular important game.
Well, Kristajic, the tall defender wearing number 20, is a real threat from these set pieces. Scored twice in one of the Champions League games against Rijeka. On by Kezman, and there's Savic. A scare for Leeds.
Danny Mills did well, because look at Danny Mills at the back post there. He suddenly sees Savic clear, comes in at 2 or 3 yards, just enough to put him off, because it was hanging there and he had to wait to head it down, but otherwise it would have been unmarked. That was that area, that set piece area. David O'Leary was so concerned, you know, who's to pick up, and certainly number 3 Savic is tall, and he had nobody on him there marking.
Bridges. Support coming from Hopkin. Hart. Towards Bridges. Too much pushing and pulling and shirt tugging for the referee's liking. So had it been on target, it would not have counted.
No, just a little nudge in the back. Good cross though from Ian Hart.
Woodgate. Bridges. Iliev. Tomic. Through to Kezman, who is onside. Martin spills it, and Tomic has scored from the goalkeeper's fundamental error. Nigel Martin crestfallen as Georgia Tomic brings celebrations from the Partizan supporters.
Well, I think it was a double error there, because Danny Mills, watch Danny Mills here, look at him, standing squill, lets the player get behind him, and it was Kezman who had the shot. Wasn't the best of shots, comfortable height for Nigel Martin, quite right, he should have saved it, and Tomic capitalised, but I think 2 defensive errors there contributed to that goal.
Georgia Tomic, once of Atletico Madrid and Guingamp in the French league, and one of the silky players in this central midfield area. This may just give Partizan the lift-off that they required, and at the right-hand end of the ground, the flares are going off amidst the small pocket of Partizan supporters. It's like a little piece of Belgrade in the northern Netherlands.
Well, after having a good little spell of 1 or 2 attacks and possession, Leeds United, David O'Leary very disappointed. That was a soft goal to concede. As I say, 2 defensive errors. They've conceded too many goals, I think, for his liking this season in the Premiership.
Bridges up in pursuit of that, guided back by Stanijevic. They're getting 9 so far. Jesic with no such problems at this stage. He was actually part of the Partizan side that knocked out Queen's Park Rangers from European competition in the mid-80s. This is Cure. Leeds looking for an immediate riposte, and they've won a corner.
Well, that Savage, the number 3, was taking deep gulps down that right flank there. Harry Cure just ran in, and it's a clear indication for Leeds United. Let's isolate him 1 against 1, and Harry Cure can get past him comfortably.
Again, the big man up from the back. Leeds have 6 players in or just outside the Partizan Belgrade penalty area. Hart to take. And here's Bridges. Well, he scored a goal not dissimilar to that sort of position against Southampton, part of his hat-trick. And only his second game for the club, but I think he prefers it on his left if he had a straight choice. And that was on his right.
Yeah, just flicked it up, didn't he? Just needed probably a little bit wider the goal. It was a straightforward shot, comfortable height and in the centre, so never troubled Damin Max.
Huge clearance by Stanijevic. Some of the smoke beginning to clear, but an orange smoke bomb has gone off behind the right-hand goal and may trouble Nigel Martin in a moment. It's been lobbed into the moat between the supporters and the playing area. And none of the stewards are too certain as to whether they should go too close to it. Approach with caution. Would be orange, being in Holland, I suppose.
The worrying thing, what happens at the end when it stops smoking, isn't it? I don't think I want to find out anyway.
Well, if 200 Partizan supporters can be as hostile as this, Leeds are indeed fortunate not to be playing in front of 50,000 of them in the Partizan Stadium.
Yeah, pretty hostile to everyone getting off the coach as well, weren't they? So I think it is a sensible decision, and at the moment their side reacted well. They 1-0 up, aren't they?
But Leeds have this free kick given for the clunk in the head, pointed out to Harry Kewell. Damianats trying to organise those in front of him. 9 players back inside the penalty area to defend. Radaby and Woodgate on the far side of the area together with Danny Mills. Swung in by Hart. Mills was going for that, and Stanijevic headed it up and beyond his own crossbar.
Looked very threatening every time that comes in. Good delivery. And certainly at the moment Partizan having to keep their concentration to make sure that Leeds don't get a clear header.
One or 2 Leeds substitutes warming up as Leeds prepare to take this. And it'll be Ian Hart to swing it in. Punched by Damianats. Here's Bowyer. Well struck! Lee Bowyer with a gem of a left foot drive. Just what Leeds required.
It's a great goal. Damianats not the most convincing of punches, but there's still a lot to do here. One touch with the right and an absolutely sweet half volley with the left. Really was good delivery, which is, as I say, has troubled Partizan. Nobody on the edge of the penalty area picking up Lee Bowyer, but a wonderful strike.
Well, Leeds visibly buoyed by that, because things have been going against them. The sight of the smoke bomb going off would not have gladdened their hearts exactly. But their answer on the pitch has been emphatic. Foul by Batty.
And let's not underestimate the importance of an away goal either in Europe. Nice to get one, to get level, but more than anything to get that away goal in the first half of a match like this.
Ivic. Tomic, back to Ivic. And Ilic. Sasha Ilic, the Partizan skipper at the age of only 21 and the scorer of the Leeds goal at the age of 22. Lee Bowyer, who is almost becoming prolific these days. His 3rd goal of this season, and he contributed 9 from midfield last year.
Yeah, I think it's sort of getting the sort of record that brought him to everyone's attention and when he was playing for Charlton, and I think he does like this central role quite often in his early time at Leeds. He was stuck out wide on the right.
Forward by Hart, and Kewell, battling with Stanijevic, did well to hoist the cross. Bridges and Kelly underneath it. Noticeable too, Trevor, that Gary Kelly is getting forward from that station on the right side of the five-man midfield at every opportunity.
Yeah, I think if you're playing five, Lee Bowyer can go from the centre and Kewell and Kelly from the flanks.
Keshman, Leeds have to be careful of him. And Keshman is still going, legs taken away, penalty for the trip by Lucas Radebe.
Well, it was a wonderful bit of skill, but what reckless defending. It's a yellow card for her as well. I mean, they had, I think, 1 against 4 here. Look, Kesman there seems to be blocked out by Bowyer and Mills. Toe ends it round him. Radebe comes in with a terrible two-footed challenge. I mean, it was a definite penalty. Well, a great feeling when they get level, and somebody with Lucas's experience, he puts his hand up. Honest referee, I didn't touch it, but he did.
And he was cautioned for it. And so it will be Vuk Razovic, who scored twice from the spot against Newcastle last season. Saved wonderfully by Nigel Martin. That wasn't far inside the post, and somehow he got across and down and fingertipped it around.
Well, all is forgiven, isn't it? That was a magnificent save. Gambled, went the right way, but it was still low. Hit well by Razovic. He must be wondering how it stayed out, but an excellent save.
He's level now after the mistake, isn't he? Ivic's corner, headed out by Batty. Trobot. Iliev was retreating from an offside position. Rapturous applause for Martin's catch. Woodgate. Kristajic. Bridges has cut off the route back to the goalkeeper. Here's Mills. Back from Kelly. Space for Danny Mills. Bridges. Difficult for him both to keep it within play and to keep the cross within bounds.
Well, Gary Kelly's still down over the far side. I thought Danny Mills might have had a go, actually. Still on the floor there.
It's worrying for him in that there's a shin injury that kept him out for all of last season, but happily he seems to be okay, and they are certainly okay, having made their way by land, sea and or air to this rather unlikely venue for a European tie. It was only decided by UEFA 6 days ago, and the Yugoslavs only received their visas to come here on Friday. Kelly in towards Bowyer, unmarked. Oh, mistake by Savic. Bowyer in there again, and Damianak's down bravely. Half a chance though. And referee Fandel is furiously blowing his whistle because he wants a word with Lee Bowyer about the challenge on the goalkeeper.
Lee Bowyer's run right back towards the halfway line, trying to get out of the danger area, and Partizan players were still following him up, and it is a yellow card he's got for that challenge. A huge amount of space for him, wasn't it? He just cleared him. Savage got caught in two minds, almost set up the shooting chance for him, and he felt he could have made, he was close enough to make the challenge on the keeper. I'm not sure, he did dive in on him when he had his hands on it comfortably.
It is worth saying that there is a change in the rules governing disciplinary action in European competitions this season. You now have to be booked 3 times before you're suspended for the following match. That was a foul on Bowyer by Kesman.
Well, if we weren't sure what sort of atmosphere and game we're going to get, we've certainly been a decent game, isn't it? The opening half an hour, we had plenty of action, and just a little reminder perhaps from the young lad of Lee Bowyer up the other end, getting a bit of what they thought was his own medicine. But he's very competitive now, Bowyer, and he's got to be careful because he does pick up a lot of yellow cards in the Premiership.
Kewell's header on. Razovic will want to let it run. Bridges doesn't want that to happen. It's Razovic to play it.
was a slight weak link. That's number 3 Savage at the moment on the right flank. Doesn't look totally convincing to Partizan.
Hopkin. Hart. You've always been good at identifying the weaknesses of right-sided defenders, Trevor, of course. There's the penalty save again. The more you see it, the better it looks. Batty. Ivic. Tomic took one look at Woodgate running in and decided not to challenge for that. Tomic. Kuzman beginning a run through the middle, and Tomic tried to chip Nigel Martin. He couldn't beat him from 12 yards, but thought that from 45 there was a chance.
Give him a few marks for vision, at least. He did see Nigel Martin coming out just beyond the penalty spot, looking for the through ball. He decided to switch his attention, but the accuracy wasn't quite on target.
Ivic. With some difficulty from Batty. He's asking the referee why the free kick was given. Well, he did have him in an arm lock, I think, didn't he? Pure. And Michael Bridges. Razovic got his head to it. Stajic. Sasa Ilic. Ilya. Not a great deal of natural width about this Partizan side, but they manufacture it with people like Stajic. There's no foul there. Kelly. Foul on Bowyer. No whistle. Hart. Kewell's very good at using his body, isn't he, to shield the ball.
He's very strong, isn't he?
Product of the Australian Academy of Sport. Hart. Batty. Not too long for Gary Kelly. Oh, Stajic gave up the chase and in the end was proved correct. Leeds are having enough of this game and creating enough opportunities to keep the majority of their sizable following fairly happy. Woodgate. Kuzman. Shot by Radaby. Tomic. Ilic. Kuzman. Forward by Mills. Razovic was given a helping push by Bridges. David O'Leary in charge of Leeds for only the 48th time. 23 wins so far. It's a good record for a manager in his first year in the job.
Well, he's slotted into it, I think, far better than even perhaps Leeds United could ever imagined. I mean, a lot of talk, wasn't there, about who was going to go there, and David was acting manager for a while and then got the job out of performances that went on in between, and has gone from strength to strength, and they've been an exciting side, as we've seen today. They certainly don't think about going forward when the opportunity is there. Maybe 5 in midfield, but the way the two wide players are getting forward.
It is on occasions almost like playing with 3 men up. There's another foul by Bridges. Radaby. On the ground, he looks a little worried by Teja Kezman, who tripped for the penalty, but in the air he's been fairly supreme.
I think generally speaking it's been a good all-round performance with just 2 or 3 lapses, which at this level proves so costly, quite frankly. I mean, Danny Mills just ball watched and allowed his Kezman to get clear of him, and then Nigel Martyn should have saved the shot. That was the first goal, and the second one, 2 or 3 defenders allowed Kezman to get the wrong side. Lucas Radaby dived in, other than those 2 lapses, but of course it's cost him, could have cost him 2 goals, but a great save from Nigel Martyn. Radaby dived in, other than those 2 lapses, but of course it's cost him, could have cost him 2 goals, but a great save from Nigel Martyn.
Another Leeds free kick, greeted with ironic applause from those followers who come from Yorkshire. Hart over the ball, Woodgate forward, and that was Woodgate, and Radaby fell over and somehow managed to hook it in! What an extraordinary finish! You lucky man! To try and head the ball, fall on your backside and still score. It's Lucas Radaby's day.
Well, here is Harry's just crumpled in a heap and flicked the right leg out. He knew exactly where the goal was. You've got to say the goalkeeper, Damianets, where was he? It's right on the 6-yard box. He hasn't come. Jonathan Woodgate headed it up in the air. Look at that. Well, I think he'll be talking about that one on the flight home this evening, won't he?
If he claims that he planned that, I swear I'll never believe another word he says. Only his 2nd goal for Leeds in nearly 150 games. Leeds 2-1 up. Kewell tackled cleanly by Stanijevic. It was not a work of elegance and art, the goal, but it counts just the same as Lee Bowyer's terrific left footer. Ian Hart, Bridges at the near post, it won't get that far. It's going to be a corner of Ivic.
Well, both goals have come from crosses, haven't they? Not being cleared properly.
Hopkin in towards Woodgate.
The delivery of Leeds is very good from out wide.
Referee has ruled, but it flipped a Partizan head, and that's way out of place, so Leeds are going to have a corner kick. Hart, and by Kewell, headed just wide by Michael Bridges.
I don't think he's on his knees out of frustration. I think he just clashed with somebody's head. First header, and then just as he's followed through at the near post, I think he's caught somebody on the side of the head, the defender, but wasn't far away, and he's got a cut, hasn't he? A bit of blood on his hand.
He's receiving treatment at the left-hand end. So Leeds temporarily are down to 10 men. If they can go in at half-time 2-1 up, having been 1-0 down, it'll be a job half well done. Hopkin. No Bridges, remember, at the moment, still off the field receiving treatment. So Kewell was on his own as Bridges is patched up.
Darren Huckabee and Alan Smith being told to warm up, but
Terry Butcher and John Wilde revisited.
I don't think it's the sort of strapping that they'll expect to last that long, but because the interval not far away, and then they'll have a look at it, probably get some stitches in.
Ilic, Tomic, Ilic for a second time, the third. And towards Kezman, whose first touch is usually secure. Fortunate for Leeds, it deserted him. Difficult ball to control.
Yes, I think he thought perhaps the Leeds defence were going to deal with it, and he was surprised when it came to him. But
the referee is going to book Michael Bridges for coming back on without the permission of the referee's assistant.
Did he plead concussion or?
Well, the German assistant on the far side signalled to the referee that he hadn't given permission for Bridges to come back on. The referee should also have been aware of his re-entry to the playing arena. And Herbert Vandel has issued a third yellow card of the evening, all to Leeds players. It's one for Hart to defend. Mills. Bridges bandaged, has his arm upraised, wanting the cross. It's not tightly marked either at the moment. Bowyer inside the penalty area, so too is Hopkin. And Kuehl. This is Kelly. Good play by Kelly. And here's Harry Kuehl. Savic there first.
Well, did well, Gary Kelly. Looking sharp, doesn't look as if he's been out as long as one would have imagined. He is an excellent player. Almost like a new signing, isn't it, to come into the squad, because he can play fullback or wide in midfield where he is now.
Corner taken short. Hopkin. Bridges. Got there in front of the keeper and the defender. Kuehl. Bridges slow to get to his feet. Hart's cross. Feels for handball, but advantage played as Leeds are in possession. And 1 minute of time to be added on at the conclusion of this first 45. Bridges. Trobok. Ilic. Kuehl. Tomic. Kuehl and Bowyer hunted well together. And this is going to be a yellow card for Trobok of Partizan.
And what an excellent half it's been for Leeds United. Going a goal down, they showed a lot of spirit and character. Nigel Martin made a mistake for the first goal, brilliant save for the penalty. Lucas Radeby, who dived in for the penalty, then promptly went up the other end and got the second goal. So good, positive attitude and approach. I'm sure David O'Leary will be delighted.
Woodgate is going to take this free kick. Kuehl. I don't think David O'Leary, Trevor, is ever totally satisfied, and no good manager is. But he will be, I think, as satisfied as he can be in the circumstances.
Yeah, I think the minus would be that, in the Premiership, Leeds have been conceding a few too many goals than he would like, and he would probably put, certainly the goal they did concede, as a soft one, and almost a second through the penalty if Nigel Martin hadn't made a good save. And with the possession and sort of performance they've had, they deserve to go in ahead.
Well, we've had the minute added on, so at the referee's mercy. This is Ivic. And that is half-time. Highly satisfactory for David O'Leary and for Leeds United as they make their way off for some half-time words of guidance. Radeby, a central figure, giving away the penalty for a foul on Kezman, saved by Nigel Martin, athletically diving to his right from Razovic's kick. Partizan ahead early on through Tomic, pegged back by Lee Bowyer's excellent, crisply struck left-footed drive, and then Lucas Radeby with what frankly was rather a lucky goal, but who cares at this stage. 2-1 to Leeds at half-time, and Gary, be careful what you say in your half-time analysis, because BBC Two is very popular. It's the second time that they've played Partizan Belgrade in European competition. The first was in the mid-60s, in the Fairs Cup, and they remain the only British team to have beaten Partizan, one of the great names of European football. He played in the first ever European Cup in 1955. He played in it many times since, and indeed are more experienced in European terms than Leeds. This is their 122nd European tie. Technically a home game for them, but at the moment it's Leeds in the driving seat. This is Mills. That was a hand from Stanijevic. Slightly unfortunate the way that the ball bobbled and rolled up his body, but Leeds will accept the free kick.
Oh, definitely handball, Stanijevic. I think defensively as well. We mentioned the number 3 Savic, the keeper. I mean, they haven't been convincing. You can see what Spartak Moscow beat them in the Champions League, didn't they? 5-1 on aggregate, and it's at the back where they've looked vulnerable.
Bowyer making the run as Hopkin swung it towards Bridges, but he didn't get as far as Bowyer. Mills. Bowyer offside.
Kesman looked good, the number 14 you mentioned. One or two European scouts might have been looking at him. I'm sure David O'Leary just mentioned to the likes of Jonathan Woodgate, who's marking him now. Look, good test for you, but for a 19-year-old, got good touch, good vision, a lot of confidence.
This is Stanijevic. Vazovic. It'll take a while for Partizan to come to terms with only having one striker to look after. It's this man, Bridges, dispossessed by Trobuk. The expectation in the Partizan camp was that Leeds would start with 2 men up front. So it's a tactical ploy that so far has worked very well for David O'Leary and Leeds.
Chances are with the cut that I'm sure he's had stitches, he's certainly had a new binding on the head. Michael Bridges, perhaps 15 minutes, 20 minutes, perhaps John in this half, and then the likes of Huckabee or Smith, I think, would be the introduction from David O'Leary there.
Trobuk. Leeds with numbers back behind the ball. Lay off by Kesman to Georgia Tomic. Now by Hart. Tomic again. Iliev. As we were, the fact that Partizan Belgrade have won 4 of their 5 meetings with British opposition. It wasn't just any old British opposition, they actually knocked Manchester United out of the European Cup at the semi-final stage in 1966. The other victims include Celtic, Queen's Park Rangers, and last season Newcastle. Batting. Mills. On the line by Kelly. Stanijevic is the Partizan defender. Bridges is appealing to the referee that Stanijevic got the last touch.
Shown himself well there, Michael Bridges, up front. I mean, not easy, young player in Europe, and having to hold it up while people join. As we mentioned, there's been good support from midfield, but I think he's been very aware of those runners and linked up the play well. Backing in is the offence by Iliev. Scored the winning goal for Partizan in their most recent league game against Proletar, the league leaders, on Friday night, Iliev. Fair to say there are not too many names of teams in the Yugoslav League that I would recognise straight away, apart from Partizan and Red Star. This is Hopkin. Tomic fouled by Hopkin. And the fact that Partizan have gone, 27 league matches unbeaten, spread over 16 months,
indicates as much about the weakness of the league overall as about their own particular strengths. This is Ivic. Iliev has pulled away on this near side. Now Tomic. Savic. Trobok. Patient by Partizan. Kezman. This is where he's dangerous. And Woodgate made sure that the danger didn't manifest itself.
Tomic, the number 10, is a good playmaker in the centre, though, very well. Lovely weighted pass that was into Kezman. Shaped to shoot, turned inside, looked for the free kick or pen, but I don't think it was.
I saw a shot of Kezman there. He and Woodgate, in fact, are old adversaries. They played against each other twice in an under-18 international. Perhaps you may remember there was a game at that level a couple of years ago which was notorious in that Michael Owen was sent off, and that was the match in which Woodgate and Kezman met at Rotherham of all places. There's Harry Kewell. Good surging run, delayed cross, there's Bowyer! Just too high for him. Hopkin. Henry Kelly. Now Bowyer again. Batting. Kelly.
Gave it away there, but it was good build-up play earlier. Killed it very well down the left. Shaped to centre it. Had the pace on Savic. Got a good cross in it. Just cleared Bowyer, who again found space, was unmarked.
Mills. Demeanours of the two coaches. One animated and one not. Tomic. Only Kezman in the centre. Martin has come for the cross. Savic. Trobok. What should Partizan's game plan be now, Trevor? Because a 2-1 home defeat, which is what this effectively would be, is no use to them at all. Kezman. Ilic. Leeds defending stoutly. Header away by Mills.
Well, they're very neat in midfield. I mean, the number 10, Tomic, everything revolves around him. Then they feed through to Kezman. The number 17, Iliev, hasn't quite got into game as effectively as a striker. And probably more than anything up to now, down the right-hand side, they've had very little. Savic has been so occupied with Kewell. And Ivic, the number 18, hasn't had as much as the board I'd probably like to see if I was their coach.
Tomic. Ivic. Martin anxious to avoid that going out for a corner. It was almost another nasty moment.
The grimace says it all. As you say, he was trying to stop it going out for the corner and then miscued it with his left foot. But fortunately, Ivic wasn't quite awake. It was a bit firm as well and rebounded off him, but it could have been an embarrassing situation.
Hard. Awkward ball to deal with. Kewell. The runner from midfield is Bowyer. Stojic is the defender. Mills. Radabin. Bowyer. Nicely done to Gary Kelly. Bridges, all bandaged up, is waiting for the cross. Too long for him and the goalkeeper. And Leeds have got the decision.
Bowyer's played very well today. I mean, getting forward, making dangerous runs, finding space, linking up the play. Definitely well worth thinking about, I think, for an England look at. We need creative midfielders, don't we?
Howard Wilkinson must watch Leeds these days and smile knowingly at the progress of some of the players that he brought to the club. Hopkins' cross. Didn't cause any danger to Partizan. But I think he made Lee Bowyer the most expensive teenager in Britain. when he signed him 4 years ago for just over £2.5 million. It's a title now held, of course, by Robbie Keane. Bridges looked for the foul, wasn't forthcoming. Kesman, lovely footwork to get away from Woodgate. He's got runners left and right. Kesman slipping it through for Ilic. Too much weight on the pass. Savic. Ivic. Partizan with 3 inside the penalty area.
Great Kesman again, the focal point. Very bright, quick of feet, go either way. Very impressed with him.
Savic. Kesman. And he took the ball very cleanly. And here's Harry Kewell. Such an elegant player, whatever he does.
How do you play advantage there? I mean, Janic, I mean, just, it was a blatant body check, wasn't it?
Seems to have taken a blow to the jaw. Shades of the World Cup as the golf trolley comes on.
Well, here, surely, this is just a blatant body check. He's come off worse, but it had to be a free kick.
Kewell was even elegant in the way he accepted the body check, I think. It was a wonderfully balanced play.
Not sure about hanging on the end of that buggy. Wouldn't like to see him brake quickly anyway. You'd be off again, wouldn't you?
This is all rather dramatic, isn't it?
That was bizarre, wasn't it? I mean, that was enough to make you wake up and get fit on the pitch again quickly, isn't it?
Well, remarkably, Stanijevic is now fully recovered. Scared to his wits' end, I would have thought, by his taxi ride.
I wonder if the old buggies are going to be a feature of Euro 2000. They might be all dotted around the country waiting for the teams to arrive next summer.
Bridges. Kelly. Bowyer. Kelly was shoved away from the ball by Kristajic. And Leeds have the free kick.
Not too subtle, was it? Kristajic decided not to go with the runner and just to balk him.
The Leeds delivery from these positions has been of a high order throughout the game. The usual suspects are inside the penalty area. Mills, Woodgate, Radaby, Kewell and Bridges. In by Hart. Used the others as a decoy.
I wondered if the two on the wall, which were not going to do much at all, was going to be too tempting. Look, they're a waste of time where they are, and in there they weren't needed. So the temptation to try for the near post was too much.
Radaby. Ivic. Tomic. Played by Radaby. And the bridge is up, of course, for Leeds. Tomic. Off by Mills. It's difficult for the supporters inside this stadium that holds around about 14,000 people to make too much by way of atmosphere, but those Leeds supporters away to our left are doing their darndest to give their backing to the team. One of their less vocal moments, but it's been a constant barrage of noise from them.
It is quite warm here, but not quite that warm either. A few have stripped off from their Leeds shirts.
Kelly, back heel to Bowyer. Almost played Mills in. Iliev. The referee didn't like the attempts of Mills to halt him. David O'Leary is up off the bench questioning the referee as to why the free kick was given in the direction that it was. Tomic, scorer of the first goal for Partizan. Kezman, this is better from Belgrade. Tomic's cross, and Radaby took it out of his own keeper's fingers.
Excellent play by Tomic again, the number 10. Reminds me a bit of a Sanovic, the Croatian who used to play for Derby, and all left foot. Nice touch, vision, and good weight of pass.
Ivic, Tomic, Throbok, Ilic. Now Batty for Leeds. Not really Leeds style just to sit on a lead.
No, I don't think it is, but then you've got two legs in Europe, and you'd have snatched the hand off to get a 2-1 win away from home. And although you think that Partizan are a bit vulnerable defensively, I'm sure Leeds just a bit wary of throwing too much caution. But I think Michael Bridges been up there by himself. It shouldn't be too long before we see a change there, just to help that lone striker bring on a fresh player.
Well, Alan Smith is warming up much more vigorously than at any previous stage on the near touchline. This meantime is Ivic for Partizan Belgrade. Savic. Ivic, who can hit them with either foot. Kuhl. Referee's assistant waved play on. There was no offside. His distribution wasn't as good as his defending in the first place. This is Tomic. Kezman. Good work by Hopkin and then Mills. Batty. Kelly wants to go forward from the bench. Bridges and Kuhl are available for him should he be able to cross it. Here's Bowyer. There's Kuhl. Razovic managed to get a boot to it first. Mills.
Harry Kuhl just coming from the left, going towards the near post. He was the only option in there. Danny Mills just over-hitting it, clearing everyone.
Strange that Leeds' away form has been much better than that at Elland Road so far this season. They've won 3 of their 4 away matches and only 1 of their 3 at home. Kuhl. Hopkin ahead of him. Kelly is well advanced inside the penalty area. Stanijevic doing his best to hold Kuhl up. Ilic. Ivic. Tomic. Throbok. I've often seen him get forward. Free kick has been given for Iliev's attentions on Mills.
Again, good, neat midfield play, and David O'Leary just making sure that they don't give him too much space in that area. Tomic in particular, number 10, still trying to dictate play. Number 18, Ivic, is a decent player. Just want to make sure that that final ball doesn't open up and find a gap in this Leeds defence. It has tightened up, I think, in the second half.
Hart. Has been put right out of the ground by Savic. It'll be on the Dutch equivalent of the M6 now.
He's that close as well. It could well be bouncing down the motorway.
Michael Bridges may not be out there for too much longer, because those Leeds supporters are giving plenty of encouragement to a whole band of substitutes that are warming up down below us. They're subdued at the other end. Bridges. Batty. Hopkin. Offside flag is up. That was another debatable one.
Dubious. Ustajic, the left back over this side, number 20, looked as if he was playing most of them wrong.
Mills. Ustajic. Mills being urged to hurry up by the German official. Stanijevic. Kezma. Back by Hart. It's fair to say that the game as a spectacle is not hitting the heights that we enjoyed in the first half, but from Leeds' viewpoint that doesn't really matter.
No, I think it was David O'Leary felt it was even a bit too open. I mean, Leeds did very well to get back into the game, having gone 1-0 down, but now having got that lead, I think that little bit of caution and perhaps making sure that they've got that extra man in midfield defensively that perhaps they didn't have in the opening 20 minutes.
Partizan is seeing a fair amount of the ball. Nigel Martin hasn't had too much to do in the Leeds goal. Ustajic. Stanijevic. May not just be Leeds who are about to make a change. There's some movement down on the Partizan Belgrade bench as well. David Batty. Bridges. And the award of this free kick will allow the substitutions to be made. First of all, Partizan's change, and Milorad Pekovic, a striker, is replacing Ivica Iliev. Pekovic, a Yugoslav under-21 international, who has scored 3 times in 8 games so far this season. And great applause now from the Leeds supporters for Michael Bridges, who's making way with just over 20 minutes to go, replaced by the precocious talent of Alan Smith. He's still a month short of his 19th birthday. If he scores, it'll be a good day for Leeds, because every time he's scored in his fledgling career so far, Leeds have gone on to win the game. Trobok. Oh, Radaby lost it. Kezman. Ivic. It's a mazy run and Woodgate has halted it. Smith's first touch to Cure. Smith's addition will add a little bit of aggression up front for Leeds. He's a very combative player. Pekovic slotting in alongside Kezman up front for Partizan. And Smith a straight swap for Bridges. Forward by Tomic, too long for Kezman.
Yeah, it's both been straight swaps really. Pekovic, 23, coming on as a partner for that man Kezman, who's worked very hard, but Iliev hasn't quite been able to have the same impact and probably needed that change.
And Bowyer is appealing for the corner. The referee says goal kick. David O'Leary guided Leeds to 4th in the Premiership in his inaugural season of management, and they're 4th again in the embryonic Premiership table this time around. Ilic to Ivic. Kezman. Mills. Kelly ran valiantly trying to keep it in. There's an unequal struggle. Haaland amongst those continuing to press their claims from the sidelines. Radovic, Bowyer. Trobok was first to that. Kezman in a little bit of space. He loves to turn and run at defenders. He's got Trobok outside him. Batting. Stanijevic has gone across. Those two have met before.
Different result this time. Harry Kewell's down. The old golf buggy's hovering just on the touchline there. But this time he tried to knock it past him, but well, there was no contact with the ball.
Contact with the player. David Swift, the Leeds physio, is waiting on the near touchline to be summoned, but there's no wave from the referee. It's a very belated decision to allow him on.
I think if you saw the challenge, you could hardly suggest that he was feigning injury. It was a pretty physical one when they hit each other here, and whether it's winded, the knee, I think it could have been anything, and could have even heard it on impact. But
it's a sad sight for Leeds to see someone as influential as Kewell being carried off on a stretcher. Leeds have won the free kick. In reserve they have Keaton, Haaland, Danny Hay and New Zealand centre-back Bakker and Huckabee on the bench. And there's Woodgate rising for the free kick, where the goalkeeper again was very uncertain with the ball in the air, and he got away with it.
I mean, Kewell gives them such balance down the left-hand side, they'll be reluctant to take him off, but there's no point in taking a chance. Somebody like Haaland, probably more likely one than an attacker like Huckabee, because you're 2-1 up and there's no need to go looking for an extra goal.
Pekovic. Kezman advancing towards the penalty spots. This is Trobok. Ivic is wide on the far side. It's Trobok's shots. A yard over the bar.
He hasn't ventured that forward that much. He does a sort of David Batty role that Leeds us sitting in front of the back four, and Trobok has come but what, 25-30 yards out. Nigel Martin fairly comfortable with that.
Well, Harry Kewell is back on with the referee's permission. Not moving too well. Bowyer offside against Smith. And Smith has made such an impact since that day when he came on at Anfield, and within 4 minutes of arriving as a substitute had scored his first Premiership goal. And Smith beneath this ball. Played by Kristajic. Ivic. Got Pekovic making a decoy run ahead of him. Now it's Tomic. Just outnumbered. Cure. Batty. Done with a bit more space. Created some. Referee eventually decides to play the advantage. Kelly. 3 poised on the shoulder of a defender, and Smith has beaten a lot of them. The angle is tight, and Damianak's made a block he would have expected to make.
Well, once he's taken it with his right wider, it really makes a tight angle. I wonder if he might have tried the early clip here, Alan Smith. He's there just as the keeper come out, but once he's gone wide there, it's a tight angle. Made it easier then for Damianak.
So much has happened to Alan Smith in such a short space of time. He really knew he'd made it when he was asked to switch on the Christmas lights in his hometown of Rothwell. Hart's kick. Oh! Well, you wouldn't want him as an outfielder in your cricket team.
Do you reckon that was a punch, or do you think it was the old bar slope job through the hands?
The technical term, Trevor, is a flap, isn't it?
Wasn't convincing. He is a Yugoslav international, you say, or in the squad.
He's the number 2, number 1, if you see what I mean.
I believe you.
He was on the bench in Dublin when Yugoslavia played the Republic of Ireland a fortnight ago. Hart with another corner kick, met by Ivic. Hopkin. Kelly there ahead of Kejman. Kristajic. Rashovic. Ilic. Trobok. They were blessed with options. Savic has spent the last couple of minutes on the far touchline without anyone within 30 yards of him, but Partizan have yet to spot him. Pekovic. Through for Kejman. Leeds holding firm.
Kejman just pointing that didn't want it through the middle, he just wanted an angle ball. That's where he made his run. He's got to get on the same wavelength with Pekovic, only just come on.
Boya. Kelly. Here's Smith. Stanijevic hoping the ball will go out of play. The referee unhappy with the attentions of Smith. Free kick given and very quickly taken, but not to the referee's liking. Not quite sure what the referee does for a living, but wouldn't be a surprise to look in the UEFA handbook and find that he's a parking attendant. There's a certain attention to detail.
I think all those parking attendants are going to write into you now, Chambers, for that.
German ones are different, Trevor, I've always thought. Batting. Oh yeah. A very good game, Lee Bowyer. Not just his goal, a real driving force in the central area of midfield for Leeds. Targeting against Mills. There's a degree of uncertainty on the Partizan bench as to whether or not to make another substitution. Consensus of opinion seems to be that they will. Here's Kejman up against Woodgate. Pekovic. That's where he is tackled. Smith. Hart. attention to make their substitution. They're going to send on Marian Gerasimovski, a Macedonian international, in just a second. Leeds have drawn the sting from this contest pretty well in the second half. Mills. Kelly. Push in the back of Alan Smith there by Rasovic. Now it's time for the change. And it's the captain who's coming off. Sasha Ilic, for someone to hand the captain's armband to. And Gerasimovski coming off. Ilic didn't take a blow to the side of his head a few moments ago. But Gerasimovski is a regular in the Macedonian side. He'll be one of those that will stand between the Irish and a possible place in the finals of Euro 2000 in Skopje next month. Hopkin. Hart, he'll be playing for the Irish, one imagines, that day. Bowyer. It's a nice turn and a good shot! Well, that sums up the goalkeeper. It sums up Lee Bowyer's afternoon. And it sums up a very satisfactory day for Leeds United.
Well, a terrific strike again with his left foot. Certainly clinches his man of the match, I would have thought. But I mean, the keeper's Damjanats. Good turn on his left foot. Decides to have a ping 20 yards out. And I just can't believe the display from the goalkeeper, can you? I mean, he never looks as if he's going to stop it. It's like a basketball player who tries to flap and catch a ball, and he's so uncoordinated. Are you sure he's not a ringer? He is a Yugoslav international. I'm taking you on your word here when you told me that before the game.
I don't think there are too many people called Nikola Damjanats, do you? Gerasimovski, Radaby still alert at the back. And Hart tangling with Ivic. He thought about retaliating. Kuzman and Hopkin having a few words as well. There's some nonsense over very little, really. Very few words are necessary.
Ian Hart just gave a little nudge to Ivic. That's what turned around the retaliate. It's very important for our Leeds. 3-1. You know, the game is safe. Excellent scoreline. It's going to be a little bit stroppy, a bit of verbal perhaps in the last few minutes, and very important for them not to react and retaliate, get into trouble.
That was Kewell's shot, which the goalkeeper did very well to stop, given his previous effort. Ivic is a little fired up at the moment. Hopkin rode the challenge of Tomic and fed it through to Harry Kewell. Smith's made the run in the centre. You can't blame Harry Kewell for fancying his chances.
A good run. He hits it well enough, but it is a decent height, isn't it, for Damjanats? Probably a bit of self-preservation. He felt he better stop that one as well. But good strike. Harry Kewell, as I say, should score more goals. I mean, he gets in some excellent positions. I know David O'Leary would like to see him more on the score sheet for the amount of opportunities he gets himself.
Hart's corner. Into Kewell. Hopkin. 4 to aim for with the cross. Flag it up against Woodgate. Possibly Smith in the centre. And the worry was who would replace the 20-odd goals that Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank scored last season. And the answer is, as Leeds ponder whether to spend some of the 12 million they received, or any more of the 12 million they received, that the goals are coming from throughout the team. Lee Bowyer 2 from midfield, Radaby a centre-back with the other.
Somebody saw the Radaby goal in action, and they might check up to see what position he was. They might think he's a £10 million striker or something.
Ivic, and this would exceed David O'Leary's expectations of today's game, particularly against a side that he knew precious little about.
No, I think that was a key fact. Also, you know, they are a young team, but they are skillful. They've got a lot of experience, and although it's a neutral venue, it was the sort of game that could have they could have come unstuck. They conceded the early goal, but it showed a lot of character. It just shows the growing confidence within the club, I think, that Leeds United can come back and win here 3-1. All they've got to do now, as you've mentioned earlier, really, they've got to just transfer that sort of bit of development of their game at home now, which in the Premiership they've struggled a little bit. When the onus is on them to come and open up sides, when sides are sitting back at Ellen Road, that's when they've struggled a little bit. On the counter-attack away from home, when they just break quickly and effectively, they've been excellent.
Ivic. What a raucous version of the national anthem is being sung by the Yorkshire Choral Society away to our left. Ivic has hobbled off, mostly close to that golf buggy. This is Trobok. Gerasimovski. Georgia Tomic. Pekovic. Mills quickly in. Radovic. Smith. As he goes ahead of him, Kuhl is through the middle. Samojevic was uncertain whether to make the tackle and then fouled Harry Kuhl. It was the third time that those two have clashed in this second half.
Good bit of play by Alan Smith. Held it up well and then switched it into the middle to Kuhl. And a last-minute substitution, last throw of the dice.
There's Nenad Stojakovic, who's a midfield player, replacing the stricken Ivic. Shouldn't make any difference to the outcome. At the moment is looking like a comprehensive victory for Leeds. Free kick has been taken too quickly. Damianat has given an eccentric performance, to say the least. This is within range for Ian Hart's left foot, but Gary Kelly, his uncle, may fancy it with his right. No, it's going to be Hart. Typically well struck. Just a bit too high.
Yeah, Spurs know all about that left foot, don't they? But quite a long way out. But I think with Damianat's display, I think anything in their half there is worth having a shot at goal on.
Woodgate has been pulled up for an arm in the face of Pekovic. Gerasimovski. Trobok. Kristajic. Inside the last 30 seconds of normal time now. I'm just waiting for the fourth official to produce his electronic board, which tells us that there are 2 extra minutes to be added on. Like an arm from Kezman. Not long now for Leeds. Kezman feeling his back, and Nigel Martin sportingly put the ball out of play.
I think they just had a little challenge, a little bit disconsolate there, don't they?
The prospect of the journey back on the buggy, I think, isn't it?
But Jonathan Woodgate played pretty steady at the back. I mean, hasn't been in his best form so far this season, but he's going to be an excellent young player. Already got international recognition, and he's played pretty well at the heart of the Leeds defence today.
Trobok. Pekovic. Leeds need to continue being watchful. been grateful to allow it to drift wide. 30 years ago this week, Leeds enjoyed their record European victory, 10-0, against a side called Lynn from Oslo. Yes, this was never going to be in the same sort of area as that in terms of a margin of victory. 3-1, better than they would have expected, better than they might have hoped. The ball's been given away to Smith, might be better still. Stanojevic finding Savic, blocked by Hopkin, clearance by Stanojevic. Here's Kelly, shadowed by Kristajic. Seems to be a hand in the face of the Leeds player, Bowyer. Right, ambitiously, even have half an eye on a hat-trick. But this, I think it's safe to say, should be the last act of this first round, first leg tie in the reshaped UEFA Cup, because we've had the 2 minutes of added time. And Leeds are hardly committing too many men forward for this. Woodgate staying back, Radaby's going up. Hart might just try another direct crack. It would be a bonus if it went in. No, it's Hopkin. And it didn't quite work out, but that can hardly be said of the evening as a whole, which has worked out perfectly well for Leeds United, who win this first leg tie by 3-1, courtesy of a goal in each half from Lee Bowyer and a magnificent piece of body readjustment by Lucas Radaby. Partizan ahead early on when Nigel Martin's error let in Georgia Tomic, and the Leeds hordes are claiming